if the previous episode had led into like a linear story and then they introduced this kid out of nowhere or the concept of him out of nowhere, I would have been able to pick up on it.
At first, when the episode started, I'm just like, don't leave us. Like, you just dropped this bomb and then you're going to go off and tell us a different story. Like, don't do that.
Deathstroke took Jason Todd.
Yep. That's a cliffhanger.
It's just that he said he was on a page in that comic book. He hasn't and he was just brought back to life. He was in an episode out of this entire. He was made up for this TV show.
Basically, Deathstroke is paid to kill Donna. You should have told me to mute that, buddy. Chuck just let an elephant in here.
That sounds fantastic.
No, it does not. But I think we need to wrap up so I can open these doors.
And we are here this week to discuss Titans Season 2, Episode 4, titled Aqualad. It is the dumbest name in the world, Aqualad. That is so stupid. I don't care. I like the episode. I like the episode, but the name is so dumb. It's like, what is
going for like auditions? What are you auditioning for? Aqualad.
What is with these names in this season? We got Aqualad and we got Dr. Light.
It's not about the season. These are DC characters. These are actual DC characters.
No, Aquaman was a DC character.
And
Aqualad was made up for this TV show.
No, it wasn't.
He was in an episode out of this entire. He was made up for this TV show.
They don't mention him at all. They never mention Garth. They never mention Aqualad. They don't mention him at all the way up until this point. Now, all of a sudden, we get a flashback episode, and who's this guy? His name is Aqualad. What?
He comes and he goes in 45 minutes. Done.
Oh, he has to find it. He has to find it.
1960, Aqualad.
Wow.
First episode, Adventure Comics number 269.
That surprises me.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
He was on
everything here.
It's just that he said he was on a page in that comic book. He hasn't and he was just brought back to life in this one episode.
Unbelievable. So, okay, the name aside, I actually thought this episode was kind of cool. Yes, it is a backstory about love more than anything else, but for once, love doesn't prevail and keeps somebody alive. It actually it does the opposite. So great.
Well, she has to kiss him.
She
has to kiss him. Once she kisses him, he'll come back to life. You told me you'd come back.
Well, and there's also another show called Young Justice that they're in, and Aqualad is
in 5 minutes of it
queer, as they put it. Yep.
Of course.
Hi.
Not only identified as gay, but going through his own coming out process.
Hi, I'm Aqualad.
Well, he is not gay on this show. He is very much hetero. He is very much hetero, and it gets him killed.
Yeah, absolutely does.
Why?
Because.
So last week I said that I wouldn't mind some backstory to tell me exactly what happened, and I got it. I didn't think I was gonna get it in this fashion, but I did get it.
Yep.
If the point of this episode is to build up Deathstroke, good job. He actually seems like a credible threat. That he was actually able to split this team up because of this tragedy that befell on them. I think that's really cool. I mean, and everything else about this episode I thought was awesome as well. We got to see that, for whatever reason, Dick and Dove, whatever her name is, were a thing, and they're on full display here. So that's a question that can be kind of put away about how, I don't know. Yeah. Chuck, you're just...
You all right?
Oh, I'm fine.
Okay. Go ahead. Because I'm gonna do nothing but praise this episode because I thought it was awesome. If nothing more, but for the backstory. I think telling backstories like this is amazing, and it fills in a lot of questions. It fills in a lot of gaps for me. It makes why the original Titans are so uneasy about being back in this location. It makes that make a lot more sense.
Right.
I still have no idea why Dr. Light is a thing on this show, because he was very easily handled the first time around, so I don't understand why they're having such a hard time now. It's okay, sure. So there's that.
So what I appreciate about this TV show, when we came to the finale of season 1, the only thing that I did not like was episode 1 of season 2 should have been episode 12 of season 1.
Correct. Yes.
What I appreciate though is they leave you with a cliffhanger. Like last week, no, hold on. Follow me here for a second. They leave you with a cliffhanger. Like last week, Deathstroke took Jason Todd.
Yep. That's a cliffhanger.
Hold on. Then they come to this episode and you're expecting to see what happened to Jason Todd. But no, they make you wait yet another week and they show you this backstory. When they went to, at the end of season 1, episode 10, they leave you with a cliffhanger. And then they show you this other this what if story when he's taking what's his name? The bad guy who was in it for 10 seconds.
Trigon?
Deathstroke?
Trigon?
Yes. Trigon.
Okay.
When he mind manipulates everybody, and you have the story of Dick Grayson, and then that's the season finale. They did the same thing there. It's just they went season 2, episode 1 with the conclusion of that. They're doing that here, and I do appreciate how we have to wait yet another week to figure out what happened to Jason Todd. They kind of leaving us hanging there, but they give us good fill. They give us good backstory that keeps you like, ooh, like what actually happened. It answers questions. It gives us that, but then they come right back to next week is going to be, here's the conclusion of what happened 2 weeks ago. Right. And I like that. They're not just leaving it hanging.
I don't know about that.
I think I talked to you about this. I talked to one of you about this before, and my thought was very similar, which was at first when the episode started, I'm just like, don't leave us. Like, you just dropped this bomb and then you're going to go off and tell us a different story. Like, don't do that. But then by the end of the episode, I was like, oh, I'm totally satisfied with how they did that.
Right.
So that was my feeling on it in the beginning.
This isn't like
when my first run through.
This isn't like The Walking Dead, where The Walking Dead was kind of notorious for this, where they leave you on a massive cliffhanger with a character and then they go away to tell a whole separate story. I'm thinking the big one that stands out in my mind is I do believe that Rick ends up in a very precarious situation where he's like about to die or whatever like that, and they completely pivot away from his story for 2 episodes to tell the governor's backstory. And it's like, well, what happened to Rick? I want to know what happened to Rick. This governor storyline is a little bit boring. The big thing going on right now is what's happening with the rest of the crew, and they completely leave you hanging. Here, it's a very, very different because they're utilizing that time to tell backstory.
Right.
I like that. I personally like that. And to your point, if Lee, don't answer. If next week they don't immediately pick up with what happened to Jason Todd and they continue with the story that they're doing now with Dick following this deaf kid around for whatever reason, I'll be completely fine with that. I'll have no issues with that at all. I don't need to know what happened to Jason Todd immediately. If you want to utilize this time for a few episodes and tell backstory to like really build up Deathstroke, take all the time in the world that you need. That's it. Because at the end of the day, Jason Todd is a main character. I don't see them just killing him off in a random.
They can't kill him off. He's Robin.
Exactly. They're not going to just kill him off like boom, gone. So there is that. I'm not looking at your face. I'm literally looking at me because I don't want your eyes to give anything away, Lee. So
I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying anything.
No, but I do like even the ensemble of this backstory. I like the ins and outs, the crazy, like you feel like when Aqualad, what's his name? Garth.
Aqualad.
Oh my gosh.
Laddie.
When he's going after Donna, you're like, you actually feel like you're like, okay, what's going to happen here? Like there's a love story in this, but it's not. It's not the main plot. It's not so. It's focused on it, but it's not so focused on it where it takes over everything else. Like in season 1, the whole Rachel Dick thing, like the be my big brother type deal, and you told me you'd save me. Like it was a big stink throughout the entire season, and it's what saved Dick Grayson so many times, and it shouldn't have. Like it should not have at all. That's not happening in this episode, and I appreciate that.
Same.
I really appreciate that.
I like that because as soon as you get the hint that there's like a thing between Garth and Donna, and like this Garth character is not around today, I wonder what happened to him. There's like no question that something really bad is about to happen, and it explains a lot of Donna's character in present day. I really love the way that the whole episode from beginning to end flowed like that. But this whole and I'm gonna the one pivot that I want to make is because I'm a collector, I'm gonna call Mr. Grayson over here an absolute moron. You're trading away an original UK pressing of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars for a copy of Space Oddity, you moron. Why would you even bother doing that? The more valuable of the two is Ziggy Stardust, especially an OG, 73, 74 UK pressing of that album? Absolutely not. I would never make that deal. I don't care how many copies of it I had. It's so stupid. He's an idiot. I don't care. But more on this deaf kid.
Yeah, who is it?
Does he need the money? Do you think Jake needs the money?
I don't care.
He doesn't have money.
Yeah, well,
he has no job.
Dick doesn't have money. Dick has a Bruce Wayne.
No, he has access to money.
Dick doesn't have.
He has a Bruce Wayne.
He has a Bruce Wayne credit card. Yeah.
This has forever on it.
Yeah. So
yeah, this deaf kid. I'm really curious to know why he's so important, why his mother is so freaked out about him leaving a window open. I have no idea who this kid is. No, they do not go into that in this episode.
Do you know this kid's name?
Nope. They don't say his name in the episode.
I'm pretty sure that this was mentioned in the last episode. Don't look it up, Josh.
This is the first time that I think we've been introduced to this character.
What's that?
This is the first time that I think we've been introduced to this deaf kid.
Okay, just remind me because I haven't seen. So, what happened with him? Did we just see him in a record store?
The episode opens up with him cooking his mother dinner.
Oh, geez. Well, that's a lot for you to not know who he is. I mean,
why would I know who he is?
Because it was talked about in the other episode.
What? No, it wasn't.
And I was pretty well aware of who he was right off the bat when I first watched it.
No idea.
All right, you'll find out in the next episode, I suppose.
I guess I will. I like legit, like they never talked about a deaf kid.
Then I can't say anything about that.
Oh, I'm looking up this episode. Hold on a second.
I do believe that this is the introduction to this character. That's my I think. I never remember hearing about him before. Okay.
Let me see here.
So,
is it Andre?
No. Andre.
It's not Andre.
Does he look like an Andre?
Nope. Nope. It's not Andre. Anyway,
and he's not even in IMDb.
Okay, perfect. Good. So, I'll just say, yeah, whatever. Anyway, we've got this character, Ziggy Stardust. Yeah. You will understand why he made such a bad record deal.
Oh, he's clearly following him. That I understood.
Clearly. But there's a massive reason why that is a good deal for him, and it's valid for him to make that bad deal with the record.
Okay.
So
it's Jericho.
Oh, it's Jericho. And who's Jericho?
I have no idea.
It was introduced in the last episode. It was in the dialogue.
Remind me then.
No, I can't.
No, I'm telling you, go ahead and spoil this for me. Remind me
Okay.
of when in the last episode Jericho was mentioned.
Why is Rose so mad at Daddy? Right.
Oh, he kills her.
They didn't say his name in this episode. And
It was brought up.
They don't know. They did not say his name in this episode. Like when mommy comes home and like eats her dinner or whatever like that, she does not directly say to him, Jericho, why blah blah blah. Like that was never like there was no. Fine.
No, but they didn't need to say his name in the episode, but the concept of him was brought up in the very last episode.
Fine.
And it was led right into, and I knew it immediately, and I was like, oh, that's what's going on.
Huh.
As soon as I saw the record store thing, I was like, oh wow. Dick's being a dick.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, all right. Okay. That makes more sense a lot more,
right?
Right, but was the record store present time or was it?
No, the record store is in the past because they do this whole 2 weeks later thing.
Yeah.
So clearly Dick is like following leads to get to Deathstroke. Okay, fine. That makes a lot more sense. This episode did not do a good job of explaining that.
No, and it leads more into it as it goes because it fills those gaps to get it. But the thing is, they did introduce it with Rose having that conversation, and that's what we have to remember is
Rose had the conversation of her brother dying. Rose had the conversation of Deathstroke killing her brother. And if they said the name Jericho in the last episode, I completely missed it. They did not say that here, and they did not mention that he was deaf in the last episode either. They could have done. There
was no mention of his deafness.
They could have done a better job of illustrating that in this episode, then, because we're in the past. We're doing a flashback, so I'm thinking, okay, they're going into Titans. I didn't think that they were going to also bring in this character that was mentioned in an offhanded way during a conversation. It's right. It's a bit.
Just like I said, just keep in mind that this whole thing is leading up to the story we're getting at, which is Deathstroke.
Which is fine.
What is up with Deathstroke? Why is he against them so bad? And like, what's the deal?
Let me one more thing, and I'll let you go, Chuck. Which is completely fine that they're building to that moment. My problem is they did not illustrate that very well. That's my only problem here. They could have done a much better job of like, this is Jericho. They could have done a much better job with like tying that back to the conversation that Rose and Dick had. Absolutely, it should have been done that way.
No,
how else are you supposed to know who he is then?
That would be spoon feeding it to you. The point is, you're getting the question. What happened here? What's this? Who's this kid? Oh, this kid must be. That's how they left it up there for you as the viewer to play detective and pick the pieces up. I'm just saying it was pretty obvious for me. I'm surprised you didn't catch on because they literally talked about it in the previous episode. So you knew it was eventually going to be coming.
If the previous episode had led into like a linear story and then they introduced this kid out of nowhere or the concept of him out of nowhere, I would have been able to pick up on it. You're going into the past and you're telling a lot of backstory and you're introducing this random kid who is deaf. They could have done, his mother could have very easily been like sign language or ESL, hey, don't leave the window open, whatever, Jericho. Like his name should have been mentioned in that moment for me to pick up on it. That would have done it. That would have sufficed. They didn't have, that's okay. I'm done.
Okay.
Chuck?
So I understand that he is a collector of things. He's deaf. Why is he collecting records?
He's not deaf.
He's deaf.
He's not deaf.
Thanks.
I'm sorry.
Thanks. Thank you.
I thought that too. He's not deaf.
So.
But that was my question too. He's not deaf. You would use sign language for 2 reasons. What are the 2 reasons?
You're deaf.
You can't
speak.
Hear.
Or you can't, as you said, Will, speak.
Talk.
Yeah.
You can't.
Right, there we go.
Oh, so he can't talk. So he's dumb, not deaf.
So no, the whole records thing, I forgive. Even if he was even if he was deaf, I would completely forgive, because there are people who collect things just for the sake of collecting them because it's monetary. You can collect something, you can sell it, you can trade back and forth, and it's a fun thing to do regardless of whether or not you can actually listen to the album. That's a big part of record collecting, is actually engaging with the community and talking about like preservation of music and everything. It's a large part of that.
Which I get that. It's just usually you start collecting things because you have an attachment to it somehow, some way, and you like it because of a certain thing. If he was actually deaf, it'd be like, why do you like this? You don't know what it sounds like.
That's like a guy with no tongue being a food critic.
Yeah. Kinda. No, you're right. Yeah, but that's my whole. Go ahead.
If he's not deaf, he just can't talk. That's a different story. That'll change. Overall, though, I think this TV show was aired at the wrong time.
What?
I think this TV show was aired at the wrong time.
How
Why?
so?
You're watching it years later. So what do you mean?
I think in 2019, 20, and it's ending in 2023.
Uh-huh.
I think it aired at the wrong time.
When should it have aired?
Not in the midst of the downfall of all this stuff, because no one knows about it.
Oh, you're saying the show itself should have been made at a different time because we wouldn't have missed it.
Right.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah.
It aired at the wrong time.
I have to agree.
Okay.
I have to agree.
Yeah, we talked. Yeah.
If this was done 10 years ago in the heat of the Infinity Saga,
Yeah.
it would have been it could have been DC's answer to so much stuff.
Absolutely.
But they did it after. Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone was like hyped up, and then this just got lost in the mix.
Yeah,
and
because nobody wanted to see what DC was doing next. They wanted to see, like, how do you recover after Endgame?
They wanted to see what Marvel was going to do next.
Right.
And it's like, oh. But, it's funny because I've been watching on HBO Max. I hate that they call it Max.
It's still HBO.
I know, but it's not HBO Max anymore. It's just Max.
Yeah.
But
Max.
What's with the rebranding? Like, why did Elon Musk rebrand Twitter to X?
Because of SpaceX.
Yes.
That way it's all just X.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
It's hilarious.
It's ridiculous. He's throwing everything at the wall just to see what sticks.
Yeah, of course.
He's a billionaire. He's eclectic.
Who overpaid for Twitter by about $40 billion, and now he's just trying to, like, what am I gonna do? I know what to do. I'll rename it X.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, he's the most popular man in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I was watching. I've been watching it. WB. They're in season 3 now, or the CW. Sorry, not WB. The
Whatever
CW.
they are.
They're doing a TV show, Superman and Lois, where they're married, they have 2 kids, they come back to Smallville.
How?
So basically, it's how? Because they do.
No. How? How?
2 people love each other.
Are they doing the Superman 2 thing where he didn't have powers, like, during the act, and then you're pregnant now, so I guess I'll get my powers back? Because no, I've had a problem with this in the Superman universe forever. There's no way that she would be able to survive. None. I don't care.
Well, he knows how to control himself.
Kryptonian baby growing in a human womb. I nope out. Absolutely not.
Well, they have twins.
That's even worse.
And one has powers and one does not.
That makes even less sense. Okay.
well, one got one gene and one got the other. But the guy who plays Clark Superman is actually really, really good. And the production in this TV show is actually really, really well done.
Cool.
I actually enjoy some of the fight scenes. Superman doing his thing is pretty intense. The storyline, it still has the stink of CW all over it, so it still has that drama.
Yeah.
You know,
Teenage drama.
soap opera. Yeah, but not really, because it's part of it because of the kids, but because there is more of a focus on Lois and Clark and Superman, it's the teenage drama.
I'm saying teenage drama because Arrow did that. Like Arrow was very much for adults, but it still had like the teenage love affair drama thing going on in the midst of it.
The soap opera feel, yeah. It's not as bad as Arrow.
Okay, that's a positive, I guess.
It's a positive, but like the person they got to use Lois was really good. The person they got to use Lana Lang is really good. Clark is the guy they got to use him for Superman. He plays Superman really, really well. I actually like his suit in this more than I like the suit in most of the movies. They do a really, really good job. The production is really well. The only thing I don't like is it's the CW. They could have used the same set that they used for Smallville, but they didn't. That's gonna be a different universe.
How long ago was Smallville? You really think they would still have a lot of that stuff around if they were? I mean,
of course.
You think? I don't know if you're gonna use a set that's like dated back from like the late '90s into the 2000s, and you're gonna like bring that here. I feel like that would kind of make something feel really dated.
But they brought it back when they did the crossover when they had Legends of Tomorrow, Flash, and they did this crossover. They brought Tom Welling back in.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And they went back to that set.
Oh, that's okay.
That was pretty cool.
And they did and it fit really well.
And then you realize, wasn't watching the other stuff. Then you realize that John Cryer was actually Lex Luthor.
Right.
Which was, I mean, from what I've seen of him, he's really good at it.
Wow.
He was really good at it.
And I mean, just the fact that he was the nephew, but now he's playing.
But this TV show though, it takes Superman and Lois out of Metropolis, places them back in because he inherits his parents' home after they pass, so he now has their home. He's back on the farm.
Okay.
And it's not a farm anymore because they don't work it as a farm. They just own the property. They probably sell the back like 100 acres or whatever.
Right.
But I actually enjoy the story. Overall, I really, really enjoy it. With this TV show with Titans, what I do like is the love affairs, quote unquote, are spotty. They're here and there. It's not a underlying plot of all the of all the episodes. It just happens to be there. It's not a B plot. It's more of a C or a D plot.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not hovering
on. It's not the main story.
No,
it's
not
not
at all.
the main story. It's not. It
it's
doesn't.
Not even carrying it.
It doesn't have a soap opera feel.
Not at all. Not at all.
And I like. I do like that.
This episode kind of does have a soap opera feel, if you think about it, because she's doing the whole "I love him, but I have to leave, and I don't know what I want," and she's like wrestling with that back and forth throughout the majority of this episode. That got a little.
There's some relationship stuff that does come throughout. I mean, it's not spoiler at all, but there's some stuff that does come even through this season and into the next season. But this was probably the most heavy-handed, I'll say, that I saw. So we're not going to get caught up in that stuff. At least up through to the beginning of the next season.
I don't mind it because it's really sparse. Yeah. They're not doing this all the time. If this show was like this all the way through, and the show was all just like Donna feeling completely guilty and down on herself, I probably wouldn't like the show as much as I do.
Right.
But for what they're going for in this episode, I think they did a really good job.
Oh yeah.
And that's the thing, though, is you got to still have a love interest in some of these TV shows.
Of course.
That's what's going to
make them human.
It's what's going to carry it on. It's going to give it some depth to the TV show. Mm-hmm. It's going to give it a new element. Just having straight action, like, there's going to be a reason to fight.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie Troy was all because of a love affair. 300, again, all because of a love affair. There's all these things that happen because there's typically a love affair that happens in it.
Titanic was all about a love affair.
Titanic was, I don't know how that even.
Yeah, that was a thing too. So moving off that for a second, I actually do want to talk about something about the show that I did not like, and it's Dr. Light is just becoming more and more infuriating the more I get acquainted with this character. So his whole thing in this episode is he wants to steal the energy from a laser, of which can shoot down a nuclear weapon. A laser. The laser can shoot down a nuke, and the crew comes up with, oh, he wants to be as powerful as a nuclear weapon. and they get to him and they defeat him by crushing the little thing that's in the middle of his vest. That is the end of him. I don't understand how that was so easy. Yep. That was incredibly easy, but then years later when they go back to kind of do the same thing over again, he is way stronger? Yeah. What happened here? Yeah. What happened?
That must have been difficult.
I want to ask you a question, Will. How do you spell nuclear?
I don't know. I don't care.
Know.
N-U-C something.
L-E-A-R.
L-E-A-R.
Where is the second U? Can you please tell me where the
second? What are you
second
talking about? Did I even spell nuclear in here?
Are you only saying it because Homer Simpson corrected somebody and said nuclear? It's pronounced nuclear.
Nuclear. What is the problem?
N-U-C-L-E-A-R.
Nuclear.
Jewelry.
You have a problem with the way that I pronounce the word nuclear?
Letters are backwards. It's one thing if there's a pronounce or like you're pronouncing a letter strangely, like you're doing a long A as opposed to a short A. But it's funny to me when the letters are literally not there. I just want to ask how you spell nuclear.
Did he type it wrong in the notes or something like that?
No. The last 3 or 4 episodes I've counted multiple times that he said nuclear, and I'm just like, I just wonder. And all I think of is Homer Simpson when he was working in the sub. And he said that line because he corrected somebody.
Nuclear.
Okay. All right, let's move on. I just wanted to ask.
I don't understand why it's so funny.
It's funny because you're literally pronouncing the middle of the word backwards. And it's
nuclear?
Just funny to me. Nuclear is not a word. Nuclear. Yeah, you don't say the nucleus of an atom.
Okay.
Do you? Is it the nucleus?
Wow.
I just want to know how you spell it. If you were to spell it, how do you think it would be spelled?
Nuclear.
Wow.
That's nuclear.
I didn't say nuclear. I said nuclear. Now I can't even do it right.
Nuclear. I think you're adding I think he's saying that you're adding a U, but you're spelling it Nuclear.
Yeah.
No, that's not how you spell nuclear.
No, he's saying that you're saying it. You're adding, and even though you're not spelling it that way, you're adding the U in the middle of it.
You know what, Lee? For what it's worth,
It's been listen. I've been biting my tongue for like months.
Bite it longer.
Months.
I just wanted to ask.
I've been biting my tongue for my whole entire life about your buck teeth and your lisp, but I never make fun of you for that. I just kind of accept it as a part of your personality. I never say anything. I never make fun of you. Will has a little speech impediment, and you have to like blast me. You're pronouncing this word. Go ahead.
I'm just asking how you would spell it.
I think you're implying something more than just asking a question. Will, I would never do that to you. I'm a true friend.
Oh yeah, what time did you show up at my party today, Chuck?
Shut it.
I'll be there at 4:30.
I thought it was Saturday.
I know.
And I was planning all day to be there. I'm like, I'll be there Saturday at 2:30.
Like nobody else will be. Okay.
I didn't forget though.
So yes, Dr. Light is super lame. It makes no sense, and yet he's still here in this series right now. So I'll just.
Did he go through?
Like, Dr. Light? He doesn't get any better.
I'm not expecting him to at all. I'm not expecting him to at all.
And it doesn't even make much more sense, except he's just there because he's there.
So
he's the decoy.
How is
exactly.
he? Yeah. How is he powerful though? Because, okay, so he goes through an accident that they say, and now he has like a suit that he can put on to harness electricity. So what?
He didn't need the suit, remember? Because he didn't need the suit earlier. He didn't need the suit, and then suddenly he's got like this like whiplash suit, you know, like from Iron Man 2.
Well, I did mention a couple of episodes ago that helmet makes him look like a shark. Like I remember that.
Magneto's helmet on.
No, it's a gladiator helmet, and it looks really it
looks stupid.
Right, but they're doing X-Men Days of Future Past right here because he like what's his name?
Come in.
Is it Scott's father that was in Days of Future Past?
Scott's father. Oh yeah, the what's his face? Havoc.
That's his brother.
It's his brother. Yeah.
Like he used the suit to harness it so he could direct it.
Right, that's the point here.
That's the point.
But he was still able to do. The whole we know that it's an addition to what he's got for powers. But the thing is, he didn't need it. It just helped him control it more.
Right.
So them breaking the little light bulb in the middle of his chest really doesn't do much except for help him not control it as well. But he still has all the power.
No, they don't go into any of that at all. I'm sorry. They break the thing and he's done. No. It's over.
All they have to do is just...
Which they did in Iron Man 2 when he fought him in the racetrack and he ripped the thing out of it and looks and he goes, oh, look, my arc reactor, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was like the exact same scene.
Yeah.
But the difference was
Man 2, though.
It made sense because he was powered by the arc reactor. This guy's powered by light, not by his suit.
But that's why, when Lex Luthor takes his ring and shines it on him and he can come back to life. When he steps out of the sun, he powers down.
Okay. That little tiny bit of light.
The little infamous ring. Destroy Superman.
Now.
But he is actually the answer to Superman 4 because Superman 4, the guy, nuclear man, should have been more like a solar power. He harnesses the power of the sun and it just stays with him. And then the longer he's out of it, the less it will diminish. This, what's the look for?
The look is for the thing I still don't understand is if he feeds off of the sun, how did he power up the world when they threw him into the darkness? That doesn't make any sense. He wasn't a battery. He was a sucker.
No, he was a battery.
Okay.
That's it. Explain it then. If he's not a battery,
I can't explain it. It makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, it was very like, oh, that's funny. But then you go back and you think about that, like, but wait, that makes zero sense. Okay.
But at that point in time, though, how many other TV shows or movies where they had supervillains from another planet come out and actually fight like that?
Superman 2.
That was his own people.
Nah.
But I'm saying, like, we had a super villain like that was not Kryptonian.
There's a reason why it didn't happen. The answer is Superman 4. That's why it never happened before, because it was probably a bad idea.
The answer is why it never happened is because Superman Lives never came out, which would have been Brainiac.
Well, no, but now you have those kind of villains all the time.
Oh yeah.
That was just one of the first times you saw that happen, where there was a super villain
in live action.
In
correct.
live action.
Yes.
And they were doing something different that they've never done before. So they were like, how do we do this?
In a movie,
let's make it a comedy.
In a movie that you couldn't afford to make.
The concept is great.
It is. I'm not gonna say it's not. The concept is fantastic.
The concept is fantastic.
Just the money wasn't there, so don't do it. If the money's not there, don't do it. That's a simple explanation. That's a very simple answer. We don't have the money to complete this project.
There's a lot of movies that do that, though.
I know there are. I know. Like Equilibrium.
That was on my mind, but I didn't want to say it because...
Do you guys remember the movie White Noise?
Yes.
Yeah.
That it just ended, and you were like, the movie led up. It led up to this really like, wow, where are they going to go with this? And then suddenly the ending is literally, oh, it's 3 ghosts. He's dead. End credits. I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was such a dumb movie because, like, everything led up to it. Like, oh, where's this going to go? Where's it going to go? And then it was like they suddenly ran out. Like, the writers just quit at that moment. And they're like, I guess we'll just end it. All right. Credits. Like, no. That didn't explain anything. None of it made any sense. We're done.
So I just watched this movie. Have you ever seen the movie Skyline?
Oh yeah.
With Eric Balfour.
Yeah.
So up until the end, it's actually a decent movie. The production is great. The aliens are cool. There's this whole thing. It's kind of like Independence Day, but from a civilian point of view.
Yeah. Was this the one?
Donald Faison's in it. Was
this the one that was kind of like Cloverfield in the sense where it was like a first-person camera thing? Or well, it sounds like
this is these aliens come down and if you look into the light, they actually they hypnotize you in a sense. And
and they're dead lights. Yeah.
And they suck you in, and then when they have you, they actually remove your head from your body, and they use your brain to power up like other aliens. Like they put their brain, like so when they die, they'll actually take the brain from somebody else and replace it, and it gives them it
sounds like a man's head.
So Eric Balfour is the main character in this movie. There's this other guy who he's like the bellhop or whatever in this ritzy apartment complex, and he's a bad actor. But the whole movie, for the most part, is really, really good. And then it gets to the end, and we talk about love, okay? So, day 2, they're trying to get across the street to a boat so they can get out into the ocean.
Yeah.
They never make it. They never make it. So it's Eric Balfour and this girl because he loves her, she loves him, and she's pregnant, and he's gonna save her. And when he first looks into the light and he gets saved, now all of a sudden he has this ability to turn it on, and he can fight. He has more strength. Then he comes back down. Well, at the very end, everybody gets sucked up into kind of like a World of Worlds type. They get sucked up into the belly of this ship. And they take everyone's brain. Hers doesn't, because they realize that she's pregnant, so they bring her to someplace else. They take his brain. Every else's brain that gets taken is blue. His is bright red, and his brain gets put into the head of an alien. And all of a sudden, this alien, who now has his cognitive thinking, he is still cognitive in this alien. And he knows it's him. And he starts going ape against all the other aliens, and then goes to her and then does this move where it shows her that it's who he is. And she's like, his name is Jared. She's like, Jared? And then all of a sudden the movie just ends. It just ends. Credits. And you're like, what just happened?
So it's funny because I'm pretty sure I've seen that movie. That came out, I was probably working at Blockbuster when that came out, or like...
It was 07 or something like that. 07, 08.
Yeah,
it's
that
up
makes sense.
Until the end, I'm like, this is actually a really good movie. And then it just stops. I'm like, just go watch the movie. It's an hour and a half long. It's not a long movie. It takes place in 3 days in LA. It's a decent film right up until literally the very end. Like, he becomes an alien, and then the credits are stills of him as the alien fighting other aliens.
That's brilliant.
That's it. But around the world, the aliens won.
That's ridiculous.
It's so dumb. I'm like, I stopped. I watched the whole film, and I'm like, what did I ruined? It's like at that point, I'm like, did they just go? This could go on forever. What do we do?
So I don't know.
End it.
I don't exactly know how we got on this topic, but we were talking about, if you don't have the budget for a movie, just don't make it.
It was Superman.
It was Superman.
We talked about Superman 4.
But I was gonna go somewhere else. You know, a movie did a really good job of hiding its budget, low budget. 10 Cloverfield Lane did a fantastic job at hiding the budget.
Good.
Chuck, have you ever seen that movie?
That's the
with John Goodman.
Yeah,
it's like the prequel to where they're underground the whole time.
Fantastic! Yeah. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Great way to hide a low budget. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, back to Titans and this Dr. Light character. No, I don't care at all.
Nope.
I really don't care.
No, you're not supposed to.
He's a toss-away character. He's there as a diversion for. He is the red suit in Star Trek. He is the guy who is going to get bashed around, and he is there as a distraction so that Deathstroke can do what he needs to do in the background. That's it. That's it.
Well, all right. Good for him. Good for him.
Yep. I will bring up this other point. Have you guys heard of Gotham Knights?
Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights.
N-I-T-H-G or K-N-I-T-H-G?
Gotham Knights. It's a TV show that, as of last month, season 2 is canceled. Like, they're just not doing it anymore.
Are they not doing it because of the writer's strike, or are they not doing it because the show is bad?
I think they're not doing it because they're just like, they're not interested in going further with the story or something. Like, I don't know. But this was as of June something, June 18th or whatever. They're like, yeah, we're not doing a season 2. And it's about, like, Batman dies.
Oh.
Joker ran away or whatever. I mean, yeah, Batman dies, and like one of his adopted children gets a group of people together, and they become the new Gotham Knights to save Gotham.
Looks like this is based on a video game.
It is based off a video game. Because the game I heard about, I knew about, but there's actually a season of a show, Gotham Knights. Two-Face is in it and stuff like that, like Harvey Dent, blah blah blah, and this other character. I don't know. I was very confused when I saw that. I'm like, is this basically Titans? And I looked it up, and it's not. But there's characters that I don't know.
Well, this explains a lot. It was a CW show. No wonder why it was canceled.
That's why.
Unfortunately, despite all their efforts, the CW wasn't able to renew the show, and the studio wasn't able to find a new home for it. The showrunners went on to assure viewers that it wasn't for a lack of trying or a lack of enthusiasm. Huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you make fun of CW, but they did
yes.
8 seasons of Arrow. They did 10 seasons of Smallville. They're on season 9 of Flash. They're on season 3 of Supergirl. They've done 4 seasons of Legends of Tomorrow.
I make fun of CW and all of these shows that you're mentioning right now because I'm not 15 years old. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's what it comes down to. All of the shows that you're mentioning right now appeal to teenagers and people who are in their very early 20s. Not for
if you watched Smallville for the first time today.
Yeah.
I know you're a huge Superman fan, but if you watch that for the first time starting today, you'd be like, "Oh, wow."
Oh, I've been watching it on and off lately, and I'm like,
I know. It did not age
It's
well.
incredibly childish.
It's very childish.
It's incredibly childish, yeah.
I never finished it. You gave me the whole box set to watch, and when they started getting back to the point where like Lana's with Lex and they had a baby, then they didn't have a baby, and this is happening, and what's going on, and somebody killed somebody else. I'm like, what is happening?
After season 5 into high school, it changes. The whole feel of it changes.
I'm sure it does.
It's just straight up like weird, sexy like drama, and I'm like, I just don't care about this.
There's a season that does that, but then the rest of it changes, and it takes place. A lot of it takes place in Metropolis, and then there's the Green Arrow comes in, Aquaman comes in, all the guys come in, the Flash comes in. They all come in and become. You start seeing the building of the Justice League within it.
And why is the Flash's name Bart, not Barry?
Because he's in a different universe.
Oh.
He's in a different universe.
Mm-hmm.
You say, but yet when they did the crossover, he was in a different universe.
I gotcha. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, later on, they weren't doing different universes back during Smallville's time.
I get that, but he also had his super dog too, Cosmo.
Yeah, for half a second.
No, he had it for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that lasting very long.
He didn't have any superpowers.
Oh, well.
He just was his dog.
Just his dog. Oh, boy.
That TV show, I've watched all 10 seasons. That TV show.
Cosmo? No. Cosmo's the one from this. Like, no, Cosmo's from Guardians. You're thinking of Crypto.
Crypto.
Yeah,
Crypto.
Cosmo's Marvel.
Whatever. I enjoyed that TV show.
I know you did.
I watched it fresh the whole way through.
Oh, I know you did.
Yeah, which is fine when you were younger.
But the thing is, to me, going back and watching that is like watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Not at all.
Oh, absolutely.
There was a season. There was a few episodes that you're taking 2 or 3 episodes and you're saying this happened the entire 10 seasons, and it didn't.
No, but that's where I noped out.
But you're saying because it happened in 3 episodes that the whole thing is like that. The whole thing is like Buffy because of 3 episodes. You're sadly mistaken, and you're making a bad judgment call because you're saying the whole thing is like that because of 3 episodes.
No, I'm saying that I watched for a long time up until what's that, season 7?
No, it's like 4 or 5.
Oh, it's way beyond that.
No.
And I couldn't.
3 or 4.
It's definitely.
It is when they're out of high school. Then Lana falls in love with, and then there's a scene. There's one where she, they become witches, which is where you noped out.
Okay, you said 3 or 4 things in that diatribe of yours that I'm immediately going to nope out on. They're in high school. Lex falls in love with Lana, and then they become witches. Why would I ever?
Well, no, it starts out with him at 14.
Immediately, right there. Why would I want to watch a television show today in 2023 about a 14-year-old?
No,
because you're watching it about Clark coming into how he's growing into his powers.
He's 14,
and that would have been really cool to watch if it was focusing on that. And I don't know.
It does every season. He gets a new power.
Yeah,
and he's throughout the entire season, it's him trying to use this new ability. He starts out with speed and strength, and then he gets his X-ray vision at one point.
Yeah,
and he
you
gets
remember
his laser vision at one point.
How's he get his laser vision, Chuck? Can you remind us how he discovered his laser vision?
Oh, this should be good.
It's like going through puberty.
He got his laser vision when he got excited.
Oh,
right. When he got specifically excited, it almost burned a hole through what was a substitute teacher's dress or something.
That would be funny if I was 15. Not funny for me now at age 37. There is nothing about everything that you're saying right now that appeals to me, which is my point about shows.
When it came out, it made sense. Now, watching it at my age, and
absolutely not.
Time, I would not have gotten as far as I did.
The only reason why they made the show is because when you watch the movie, you see him at 2, then you see him at 18, and then you see him at 30.
It's to fill the gap. I get
That's
it.
fine.
They're just filling in that gap.
Fill in the gap all you want to. The whole point of this conversation started with me making fun of CW shows, and the reason why I'm doing that is because they make a lot of shows that are geared towards teenagers. It's for them. It's for that demographic, not us. There is not very much that goes on in the CW world that's going to appeal to people our age.
Well, I'll say this then. The CW, since they started doing Smallville, was what, 20 some odd years ago, still has continuity. It has strength. It is still going on, and it is doing something that DC and Marvel has lost along the way, and they're still maintaining it and going strong. So they're doing something right.
I'm not saying that they're not. Yeah, they're doing something right for teenagers. It does not take much to entertain them.
It really doesn't.
It's very simple. Teenage love drama in high school. There you go. That's all they need, and they're glued. That's it. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be sensical. It can be as ridiculous as they possibly want it to be, and it's going to work. Hang on. Clark discovers he has laser vision because he saw a hot girl and got excited. Are you serious? That's funny for a 15-year-old. It shouldn't be funny for you now at age 40, whatever you are. I'm sorry.
But even Flash is not high school. Arrow is not high school.
No, but it appeals to them.
It appeals to them. That romantic style that they do appeals to teenagers. It's fantastical relationship love nonsense. It doesn't do it shouldn't do anything for our age demographic. It should appeal to them. And they're the ones who are watching shows like that and continuing with that thing going, which is perfectly fine. I can see that with Smallville. But with the rest of them, that was Arrow. That was Arrow through and through. And if they stop doing storylines like that in season 4 or 5 or whatever you say, they stop doing it way too late to hold my interest. When you build a television show and you have 3 or 4 solid seasons of this ridiculous love triangle that's going on between those 3 core characters, and then you introduce Deathstroke, who doesn't not do anything at all impactful, very little. I don't know,
like when we watch Walking Dead, there was love triangles throughout the entirety.
There was also zombies and dead and a whole lot of blood.
In the beginning, the show was about zombies.
Yes.
In the first 3 seasons.
In the first 3 seasons, the show was about zombies. But I mean, there was a whole triangle with Shane and the wife and all that stuff. And that was a very interesting story because it's like, well, how do you handle that? And Shane clearly just went off his rocker.
Yeah.
Couldn't handle that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they beheaded Herschel.
Oh. Herschel.
That was such a sad day.
That was messed up.
It was.
That was
rough.
That was.
Yeah,
that's the one thing when Walking Dead did that, they would just kill off no other TV show would kill off main characters the way The Walking Dead.
Yet they kept Carl, who they were supposed to kill. Okay.
Really?
Whatever. Yeah, wasn't Rick supposed to lose an eye and Carl was supposed to die?
No, Rick was supposed to lose an arm.
Okay.
Didn't Rick die at some point though?
No, they came and got him in a helicopter and took off, and I don't know what happened after that. I have no idea.
What happened in the show? I did not get there.
A helicopter comes out of America. They meet up with this crew, and there's like other things going on in the world, and Rick is seriously hurt, and a helicopter comes and takes him away. And that was the last thing I watched of Walking Dead. That was the last time I saw anything out of that show.
Because now it's Carol and what's his name? Norman Reedus there.
Carol and Daryl.
Carol. It's just such a weird couple. How those two
It's a weird couple, yes. But also, isn't there a whole show that's just Daryl? There's a show about Daryl. There's a show about Negan and Maggie.
He got his own show now. Does everybody just have their own show? Did they just do spin-off after spin-off after spin-off?
I don't have my own show.
Yeah, it's called
I would love my own show.
Yeah, then didn't Morgan have his own show, Fear the Walking Dead? And now there's Dead City. It's just
it's a universe.
Oh, people aren't watching this anymore. Let's split off.
Another
it's
no.
It's another universe.
Speaking of zombies, we should do Shaun of the Dead.
That movie.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hot Fuzz is so much better.
Shaun of the Dead started it all.
I know, but Hot Fuzz is so much better. And The World's End was not as good.
I did not
like Hot. They have that title.
I did not like Hot Fuzz.
Oh, dude.
I did not like Hot Fuzz. I like Shaun of the Dead so much better than Hot Fuzz.
Shaun of the Dead was more campy and it was funnier.
Yeah.
It was meant to be a parody.
Yes.
Hot Fuzz was a bunch of different genres thrown together in one film.
It started off as a comedy and it got real serious by the end. And then you're like, what does this movie want to be?
Yeah, and that's what I loved about it. It was having its own identity crisis throughout the entire film. But I'm like, yes, this is my brain.
It's kind of like Pineapple Express. Pineapple Express. I can't.
Hey, what is wrong with Pineapple Express? That movie is fantastic.
Oh,
I
Chuck hates
love that
Pineapple
movie.
Express.
I
He
love
hates
that
the love
movie.
affair.
That movie is so funny. That movie is so funny. Oh my god. The fact that all of that is actually happening to them while they're high and just paranoid out of their mind is it's so funny. It makes everything
really
so
is.
much better. It's one of the few comedies that I actually enjoy from beginning to end. Pineapple Express is fantastic. Come on.
That says a lot.
Pineapple Express. Oh.
Pineapple Express is
I'm gonna
amazing.
save you, man. I'm gonna save you.
When he's carrying him and everything's just blowing up behind him, it's
Danny
they're in the-
McBride just
is it
keeps
the-
getting his butt handed to him the whole time.
What are they in a greenhouse and the thing is like blowing up
Yeah,
around?
yeah.
Everything is exploding. Like he's living life as a drug dealer. This is Seth
Franco?
Rogen.
Mm-hmm.
No, Seth Rogen, and he's driving around and he just calls.
well,
into all
Franco
of the,
Franco was the
Franco
drug
was the
dealer.
dealer.
Right, yeah, he was there. He bought it off of him.
Yeah.
But he would just drive around and he would just call into radio stations
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
He'd go off about being high.
Yep.
It's like, this is so dumb. So
No.
then he goes to Franco's house and he wants to buy more, and then basically all hell breaks loose. And you're like, what the heck is going on?
It's amazing.
And then there's
It's a modern day Cheech and Chong movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that's exactly what it is. It's a modern day Cheech and Chong movie, just with the added element of, hey, you know all that paranoia? It's really happening. It's great.
really going on.
It's great. They're being hunted by the mob, and the fact that they continuously smoke through the entire movie makes it priceless.
And they're successful at it.
Yes.
No, it would never happen.
That's why it's a movie.
That's
No,
why
no,
exactly. That's why it's a
Okay, so
movie.
then that can be our reason to everything else that doesn't happen in movies. When we go, it should never happen. It
Hey,
should
you know
never
what?
happen.
Yeah, exactly. There's zero reason why the human race was able to defeat the aliens in Independence Day, but we did it because it was a movie. They flew here from galaxies and light years away, and we
I'll get
defeated them by uploading a virus into the mothership.
But-
That's
Yeah.
fine. That's perfectly fine. But a couple of podheads.
I'm sorry. There was a 10-year span of my life in my 20s where I smoked every day. And let me tell you this. When I smoked, after I was done, I wanted to do
Nothing. Nothing.
I could do a bowl and I was done for the night. Like I had no cares. There was nothing in me that wanted to go and take on a mob or blow things up.
Well, they didn't want
or
to either.
fight.
The entire time they wanted nothing to do with
They
it.
wa-
And that's what was
yes.
so funny.
That's
They just wanted to go home and take a nap.
You
yeah.
should have just gone home
They
then.
couldn't. They were being chased.
They were being chased.
They were being attacked.
Why?
When he put his foot through the windshield, he kept trying to kick it out. And it
Okay.
just got stuck.
Okay, so I gotta tell you the story.
That's real.
Since we're on this, I tell you the story. Will, this was probably, I don't know, 15 years ago now. I was smoking one night, and after I was done, I was having a bowl of cereal because you get the munchies after you're done.
Oh,
And I was having I think it was like Lucky Charms or something like that. And I was talking to my wife at the time, and I said, "Oh, at the very end, I had drank the milk." And I'm like,
There he
"What's
goes.
the best part about cereal?" And the majority of people say the milk at the end because it's all sugary and it tastes like Cocoa Puffs taste like chocolate milk when it's
Yeah.
done.
It's great.
And I sat there and
I
went,
love the milk.
It's fantastic.
It's the best part
I
of the
went,
cereal. I agree with you. Yes.
It is the best part. So I went light bulb, and I went, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna talk to a milk and a cereal company, and I'm gonna make cereal milk. This was my invention. Cereal milk. I'm gonna get vats of Trix, vats of Lucky Charms. I'm just gonna fill it with milk and then strain the milk. I would tell people this. They go, "Oh, that's gross. The cereal would get soggy." I'm like, "You're not eating the cereal. You're drinking the milk." After I would bottle it, and in the shelves you would have chocolate milk, strawberry milk, Trix milk, cinnamon toast crunch milk, and everyone was like, "That's so dumb."
No, it's not. This is a great idea.
Fast forward to 3 years ago, they actually have it. They have Trix milk. They have cinnamon toast crunch. I'm like, they have cereal milk.
You should have jumped
What
on
the
that.
heck?
You should have jumped
I
on
should
that.
have
You should have
this,
jumped
and
on
I
that.
would have been a billionaire.
You should have jumped on that.
I'm like, what?
You're not the.
I was so mad.
Yeah, of course you were. So and I don't think I ever talked about this publicly, but if I think Lee would tell you that I'm probably telling the truth. When Bitcoin first got going, I bought some when it was dirt cheap and sold it after it had like invested after it accrued me a couple of bucks. It was ridiculous. So yeah, a lot of that stuff happened. I can't see what you're trying to show me.
You can't see it at all, can you?
Nope. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But yeah, tricks, that absolutely. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
That's real now. It's Frosted Flakes, it's Crave, it's Golden Grams, and it's Fruit Loops.
And you know,
like,
a pothead thought about that, and now he's rich.
and I said, at the time, my wife was like, "How would you market it?" I'm like, "So easy. Every 7-Eleven and every corner convenience store, because every pothead,
yes,
at 12 o'clock in the morning or 1 a.m. would go to the convenience store to get something to munch to chew on, and they're going to want something sugary to drink, and they're going to get cereal milk, and I would be filthy, stupid rich right now.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. That's a really good idea. I like that.
And it's super easy. All you got to do is just
strain
buy cereal,
milk.
buy milk, and strain it.
Yep.
And you have cereal milk.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
I'm
And
so
I was-
glad we're talking about this episode of Titans tonight.
That just kind of went into a whole different direction. But no, Pineapple Express is fantastic. I love that movie. I will
hate the
maintain
movie.
to.
I despise the movie. I lost all respect for James Franco when I saw that movie.
Are you serious? Really?
All respect. Oh, when he did Spider-Man, I was like, oh, he's a serious actor. And then he did this movie, and I was like, he's not a serious actor at all. And then he did not At World's End, but the other one.
Your Highness.
No.
The interview.
No.
This is the end.
This is the end. And he was in that and I'm like, oh, he's even a bigger loser now. I lost all respect for James Franco when he went down that path. I did not see him as a Seth Rogen type actor at all. Like this stupid comedian. I can't stand him.
So
To me,
He's been in a lot more than you've seen, and I think that's where it comes down to. He was in more comedy roles way before he did something like Spider-Man.
Right.
So you lost respect for him after Pineapple Express. Then I'll ask you how you feel about 127 Hours.
Well, that's different.
He was fantastic in that movie.
Okay, so then you didn't lose respect for him. Come on.
Okay, I like the movie. I don't like him.
Oh my
127 hours,
god.
that movie was hard to watch. That movie was fantastic.
That movie's rough. That's a
Movie was-
rough watch. That's a rough watch,
True-
especially at the
true
end when
story.
true story. Especially at the end when he
Yeah.
chops his arm off and like the camera does that shaking thing when he hits the nerve. That got me. That got
the
me.
violin sound and
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
That got me. That got me really
You
good.
say he chopped his arm? He didn't chop it. He cut it off with
Cut
a
it
Swiss
off
Army
with a
knife.
Swiss Army knife. Fine. But I'm
His
that
arm
was-
was dying.
ugh.
Oh man,
Eesh.
Like he went. Like how long that was it taken to cut off?
I don't want to think about it.
Well, think about it. Try not to think about it.
I really hope the majority of it was numb. For his
I
sake.
think most of it was.
When he gets to
because
the
his arm was
nerve, when he
dying.
gets to the nerve, you know that he's gonna
nerve.
feel that.
Yes.
Wow.
The nerve parts is what. But hey, it's kind of like Saw, but real life.
I saw.
All those
right.
movies run together for me.
Well,
No,
the first we know the first
movie.
one. The
The
first
first
one
one.
sticks out.
The first one
He cuts
sticks
his
out,
leg
but
off.
everything after that, it's like, did this happen in 2? Did it happen in 3? Or maybe it was 4? Like it kind of all
Oh yeah.
jumbles together, and I don't know the difference
16.
anymore. Sure. Okay. Anyways, we have gone on
Titans.
way too long. Titans.
Titans.
I think we're done with Titans.
I think
we were.
so.
I think we were done with Titans a half hour ago.
There was not much to say here.
Well,
Not
Dr.
really.
Light.
Stupid.
No. Nope. No.
Dr. Light.
I'm so done with Dr. Light. Like this is the
Do you
first
think
time that I'm
basic
saying this. This is
Basic story.
This is the first time I'm saying
Basic
this
story,
about this television. I'm sorry. This is the first time I'm saying this about this television show. I can't wait for this storyline to end. I want it to move on. I don't want any more Dr. Light on the TV. I don't care. I'm done. I think it's stupid. Yeah. And I agree with Chuck. He's the redcoat. So.
Yeah, you don't have to wait much longer.
Good.
From what I remember.
Good.
I will say I don't just so I know where we are on track here. Basically, Deathstroke is paid to kill Donna. You should have told me to mute that, buddy. Chuck just let an elephant in here.
That sounds fantastic.
No, it does not. But I think we need to wrap up so I can open these doors. Anyway,
you do that.
That being said, okay, Deathstroke hired to kill Donna. Aqualad jumps in the way, gets shot, done, dead. That's pretty much what happened, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. All right. Well, goodbye, everybody.
Aqualad didn't get in the way. He was shooting Aqualad. He hit him right in the heart.
Yeah. Well,
Dead on. Dead on.
And in turn hit her right in the heart, I guess.
Yeah. So sad. So sad.
Can we please get out of here now?
Wow. Okay.
It's creeping. What? Oh.
I didn't think it would be.
Okay. All right. Well, see you later, everybody. Thanks so much.
Have a good night, people.
Have a good night, guys.
Hey everybody, Lee from Black and White Reviews here. Just wanted to take a moment to thank you for tuning in, checking out our conversation. If you like this discussion and you want to hear more about this specific subject or other things, check us out on our podcasting sites, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, or Google Podcasts. We're up on pretty much all of them. So yeah, thanks again for popping by, and be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks.